Hi friends, it's hard to believe, but it's that time of year again. It's back to school season. There's excitement in the air, I'm sure for some, especially parents who've been going stir crazy with their kids, but for many families, it also comes with pressure and stress. With new clothes and school supplies, after school care, packed lunches, it all adds up. And if you're already stretched thin, it can feel really overwhelming.
Well, that's why today we're going to talk about this season and what it looks like for families who live in economic uncertainty. We'll hear from Christina Neal, part of an innovative mental health and collaboration between Union County Public Schools and Department of Social Services. And we'll sit down with Ola. All right, I want to try this. Harivlek.
No.
Oh, what did say that for us?
Okay, Gavriluk.
Havri Luke, there it is. Havri Luke, who's a mom, who's a part of our coaching program, our emergency savings incentive program. Been a graduate of Getting Ahead. She's raising 5 kids.
Yes.
5 kids. 4 of them going back to school coming up here. And so we're going to be talking with her and with Christina about getting back to school and what that takes for people who are challenged by poverty and food insecurity.
And this episode is really about what families are carrying as the school year begins and how you, our listeners and supporters, can walk alongside them. So you are listening to Hope and Uncertainty, stories from the heart of Common Heart. So Christina, you work with the Behavioral Health Collaborative here in Union County. Can you give us a little snapshot of what that is?
Sure. Actually, the Behavioral Health Collaborative was born out of the exponential growth of Union County over the last many years. Lots of new schools have been built and added, and there were a handful of school social workers and therapists to support all the kids across the district. And so our program was developed to add additional school social workers, additional therapists across the district to support all the schools that now encompass Union County Public Schools.
You've done several of these back to school seasons over the years, I'm sure.
Sure.
And we're going up this new back to school season. What do you typically see taking place this type of year as the school starts up again?
When I think about Common Heart and all of the work that you do and the parts of our community that you serve, it automatically has me think about food insecurity and housing insecurity and that impact on families when they're trying to prepare to send children back to school with everything that they need to go back to school, all of the supplies, the clothes, the latest sneakers that are popular with their friends, like all of those things is an added stressor on top of what is already stressful when you're trying to figure out how to keep a roof over the heads of your family and feed everybody. So it adds to the stress that's already there.
Yeah, stress is a big deal for families. You know, we really realize that this lack of resources makes a huge difference in people's lives. Can you comment a little bit about that, how the lack of resources really adds to the whole picture that normally people go through stress at the beginning of school, but this is a little bit more, isn't it? And what would you say the level would be?
It's extensive. I mean, to think about a child going into school, the focus is academic. You know, it's to learn. And to go into a classroom hungry and not sure where you're going to be living. You're not really able to access the part of your brain that has to do with focusing on learning, with memory, with regulating your emotions, with problem solving, all of the things that are harder for a developing brain to grow. They're also harder to access because your brain is in survival mode, focusing on basic needs is surviving.
Yeah.
And so accessing that learning piece is really hard.
Right.
So it shows up in school with children trying to learn new material, get along with new friends, like just all that it means to do well at school is impacted significantly by the food and housing insecurity that's impacting families across our community.
Talk about the education piece, but also that, social, emotional, mental health. Kids, they can feel that stress that mom, dad, grandma, grandpa are feeling as well, right?
Yes, and that consistent stress of that, studies show it increases the level of anxiety and depression, that kids and also adults are experiencing. And so it's, a parent who's under all of that stress because of all the financial stress that's going on, that parent, their capacity to parent the way that they want to parent and to be supportive in all those things is diminished because of all the stress, and they're also in survival mode. And so accessing that frontal lobe to really, have emotional regulation and process and problem solve and all of that is impacted as well, because you're, again, just like kids trying to learn at school, you're in that survival piece of your brain and trying to navigate just surviving and having basic needs met is a challenge daily.
I really see that as going on. But there's also this strong sense of excitement going on about going. And you got that conflicting emotions, I would think.
Sure.
Between the excitement of everything new and stuff like that, and then also the stress at home. That kind of contradictory feelings, does that have an impact, you think, on families?
Well, children going back into school, it's different for every kid. Some kids are very excited about meeting their new teacher and meeting new friends. Some kids, that's a huge stressor because it's more change, it's more unpredictable. Things in their life, like what is the new teacher going to be like? Who are the kids in my class going to be? Who's going to pick on me because I don't have the new shoes that my family can't afford? Those kind of things. And so there's definitely the social and emotional aspect of stress that's added for kids. There are kids that are very excited as well, and so they're going back and forth between the worry and the stress of everything that's going on at home, and the excitement of there's meals available at school and things like that when school is back in and they know that that's going to consistently be available. That's a relief.
I think, I think too about the relief of no longer, summer you have to come up with childcare, right? For kids, if they're out of school, you have to figure out, okay, where are they going to go all day, especially if you have a working family. So it also relieves, that worry, at least for part of the day, but it really is just like you're going from certain stressors to other stressors. It's not necessarily that the stress is going away. It's just shifting into different areas of life and just whatever season you're in.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Let's bring Ola into this conversation now.
Okay.
Ola, I'm so glad that you're here with us. Ola is a Getting Ahead graduate, and so she's been through what I think it's, what is it now? 50 hours of support and conversations and facilitated conversations around living without resources and how to move out of that situation, create a more stable life. You were involved with the coaching program too, correct?
Yes.
I have one kid and trying to do all the things. I can't imagine having 5. So can you tell us, a little bit about what this time of year looks like for you as your 4 of your 5 are getting ready to go back to school?
I was talking with my friends and I just said that, there is no difference between the school time and the summertime for me. Actually, that's because we still have some activities. We still have summer programs. We have summer camps, and we still need to wake up in the morning. We still need to drive kids somewhere, pick them up, and so trying to manage all the things, and especially if you are also staying at home mom, or if you are working mom, that's really like a big high level for me, because I don't understand how the working mom can manage the household, kids, work, and that everything. Yeah, the relationship with the husband, being a daughter to the parents. That's all of that. So I feel that it could be so overwhelming, and yeah. Of course, when you have like one kid or when you have 5 kids, it's a difference. It makes difference. Yeah, but actually, you are like with every kid, with every child, you're trying to manage it somehow. And so that's actually like it takes a little time, but then you are just adjusted to that, and then you go to your routine and trying to do your best. Yes.
How long have you been here and having your kids in the school systems here?
So we have been here for 3 years. We came here from Ukraine, and yeah. So I had 3 kids, 3 older kids at school. And this year I will be having another one at school too. So total 4 kids at school system, and one is still at home. She's too young for school and for pre-K. In general, like I would say, it's a huge difference between a Ukrainian school system, and American school system, and we also get to used to that. And it was also somehow like a stress for kids, because, for example, my oldest, he graduated from the 4th grade in Ukraine, and here in US he went to the 5th grade. So he like jumped 1 year, and yeah, it was a huge stress for him. Language, new friends, new home, school, everything was like like a snowball. Yeah. So the first year, it was really hard for us. We had to understand actually how everything works. I am really thankful that we had a great school support for that year. We had so all 3 kids, they go at the elementary school, and yeah, the school counselor, she was great. She just like she called me several times. She asked what she can do for us, how she can support us. Do we need anything, like for example, beds for kids, yeah, like a mattress or something like that, yeah, school clothes, and yeah, we came actually, yeah, just with a couple of packs. Yeah, so we really needed everything. Sorry, I'm going to cry.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's a really good experience. I'm sure you felt supported and cared for and loved.
Yes.
Yeah, which is what we want to see take place in our community. And I'm glad we have counselors that think out and could reach out in that way and make it easier for you to get through that.
Yes.
Can you imagine what it would be like if you didn't have that kind of support?
No. I believe it would have been really hard because well, okay, I speak English. I know a lot of friends who like they don't speak English. They cannot communicate with the school. They have to manage all the school letters, all school messages, all communication with teachers, with school counselor, with principal. When kids come home, I remember my shock when I like had every day I had the folder with papers. Every day I had a paper inside, so I need to go through the paper and look, and it was like, okay, they need to do that. Okay, now I need to make that appointment. Now, okay, so it was a huge shock because, like I said, we didn't get used to that, so we didn't know how to to manage all that huge folder with all the papers, and then there were also school communication applications, and so, for example, I had like about 5 school communication application in my phone, you know, and every like every day I need to check if there is a new message there.
Yeah.
And so that was a really hard time. So there was a talking points, it was a class dojo, and it was Power School or something like that. Yeah, Power School. So 3 applications. So,
That's a lot to keep
yeah,
up with.
that's a lot. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And so I'm glad that I will have like probably 2 next year, because it's gonna be an elementary and a high school
Oh
for
gosh.
kids. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So probably it would be not so much.
So how has being involved with economic empowerment and being involved here at Common Heart maybe helped you navigate or cope with the overwhelm that you felt?
Yes. So I remember actually the first time how I heard about Getting Ahead. And it was on the food bank. Yeah, someone was just walking around, and he knocked at my car, and he said like, okay, so Common Heart is going to start the Getting Ahead program. Are you interested in that? Would you be interested? And I said, okay, can I see? And sure. So I just like read it, and it was really interesting, you know. It seems like it could be something that can help to move forward, and like can help to navigate actually how to live in US and how to succeed.
Yeah.
And so I just really made a really big decision, and I decided to go to that program. And so yeah, it was a good decision actually.
That's awesome.
Yeah, the best one.
Well, you completed the whole way through. Did you
Yes.
find that the folks that you went through with were supportive? Did you find something valuable in the actual program itself that you could
Yes.
point out?
Yes, it was a lot of support because I saw other people that have not the same situation, but maybe even more difficult situations than me and my family. And I saw also like a way, you know, because the book was very helpful, and also our discussion during the meeting, it was also helpful. And I remember one thing that actually like it was an insight for me. So it was in the book that poverty is a generational thing. And so I was, wow, okay. Well, I don't want to my kids experience that. I don't want to that this like generational thing continue with my kids and their kids.
Yeah.
So that was a real insight, and like a mind changing point. Yeah. So I would say that Getting Ahead is a great program, and it changes people in many ways.
Yeah. And it probably was interesting because there weren't too many Ukrainians there, I'm pretty sure, right? So people, regardless of they weren't. It wasn't all a group for just refugees. These are folks that live here and facing the same kind of challenges you faced. You know, we've been seeing lots of increase in the people in the pantry. I know. Are you?
I can't believe it.
You can believe it. Yeah, definitely. It's one of the busiest times of the year. Although these days, I don't know if there is a busiest time of the year. It's just all the time seems really busy with overflowing capacity at our pantries. What kind of experience did you have, and what kind of experience do you think folks can have that come out that they would have with our folks?
So I would say that Common Heart's pantries, the most important thing, like I believe for me and for many of other people, that you have a pantry every day. That's a different location, but you have it every day, during the week. If you live somewhere at Indian Trail, for example, and you can go to Stalin's location, or you can go to Vauxhall location. So it's like not so much drive,
Mhm.
as in, for example, you go to Wingate or Marshville.
Mhm.
Yeah, and so that's helpful for many people who, for example, cannot come on the certain day,
Mhm.
and so they can switch to other day. But also, I experienced that common heart food pantries, they have a waiting time,
Mhm.
but it's not so long as at other food pantries.
Oh.
Yeah, because I remember our first year in US, and we were living in another county, and uh, we we drove to the food pantry, and we actually were staying there in line for about 3 hours and a half,
Oh.
and it was a summertime, and all the kids were in the car, and so you can experience and feel how it is
Mhm.
having all the kids here in the car.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and so even if you wanna get out of that line, you can't because it's closed.
Yeah.
You have
Oh,
cars
gosh.
here and there.
You're stuck.
And you're stuck
Yeah.
inside. Yeah, so
Ugh.
you just need to wait and entertain
Yeah.
kids and somehow.
Mhm.
Yeah, so it
Mm.
was actually also one of the points why I chose not to go to the food pantry at that location and other locations. And when I first came to the Common Heart locations, I realized that it's not so long, so I can like how manage it, and the kids can like go out of the car and just see other kids and we see other families,
yeah.
and and we can see also families who speak our language, and we can make our connections, and also the people who were hosting the food pantry, they were also very kind, and they were like trying to say something pleasant, to say something good,
Mhm.
nice, and yeah, it was
That's good.
a huge difference, I would say.
Yeah, it's important to us that our pantries feel like that place where you can be your family there, that you feel welcome, that you
Yes.
feel appreciate that there's dignity and hope involved.
Yeah. And
Mhm.
I love hearing that your kids can meet other kids and
Yes.
find that community, because that can be hard too, to find other kids that speak their language and
Mhm.
understand maybe where they're coming from. And so the fact that they're able to find that community as well
Mhm.
is really
Mhm.
wonderful. So Ola and Christina, we're so grateful for the insights that you have, for sharing your personal experience, your insight into kids and families and all that they go through year round, but especially right now at this back to school season and all the feelings that it brings.
If this conversation has moved you in any way, I just want to encourage you to share it with other folks. Let other folks know that they should pop on here and hear what's been going on, and how during this time of insecurity there really is hope available. And I want to thank those of us that join us on a regular basis and around this community who volunteer. Because volunteering is another way that we can provide hope, that we can provide dignity, that we can provide caring, that we can love our neighbors and share with others. Right now there is definitely a need because of the challenges with our food supply, of the decrease in funding, and the decrease in foods that we receive from the federal government and through the state, that we need food drives, and that's another way to be involved. And of course, a check and a donation can go a long way, because we really squeeze every bit of juice out of that dollar. And so I just want to thank you and encourage you guys to be involved and to join us in this small revolution of kindness.
And be sure to join us on August 14th for our next episode, Rooted and Rising. We will talk with longtime volunteers and brand new ones and explore how both are helping shape a more compassionate community.
Thanks for listening to Hope and Uncertainty, a podcast from Common Heart. For more stories and to get involved, go to commonheart.org.